The lights are off and away they go.
Extremely loose. He's managed to hold on to it. He missed the complete. He's crazy stuff.
Side Freitas is on the grass on the infield before. He slides through. He tags Richard Eck.
From the womb-like security of the blimp gondola floating high in a Wisconsin sky, midway between Green Bay and Milwaukee, looking down at Road America, which today plays host to round 5 of 7 on the Formula Neagle Season 9 schedule. Sanctioned by the Absolute Beginners League, and with all the Skip Barber open wheel excitement from green flag to victory donuts, seen live as it happens here on the Global Sim Racing Channel. This quarter-hour streaming award-worthy pre-race show will count us down to when the lights go off and the grid smokes away from a standing start, beginning the timer ticking on this 45-minute affair. So bring cyberspace into your place, throw a couple cream cheese Kringles on a plate, pour yourself a tall, cold glass of Wisconsin dairy, put your feet up in the recliner, and enjoy the simulated open-wheel action that will be streaming your way. From America's Dairyland, hello and welcome to another GSRC broadcast. I'm your host, Bill Soups On. Helping me call the action is Adam Forever Young. Turning the knobs and pushing the sliders is our director, Amjad Yaman. And at his disposal, the camera locations provided by the Ansel Adams of iRacing, Dougie Beard. GSRC's coverage of Formula Neagle is made possible thanks to the good folks at ilovesimracing.co.uk, the home for your personal created button boxes. The Season 9 champion will be awarded a custom-made button box from I Love Sim Racing your way. Adam, last time the series was at a pretty long track, Suzuka. Today, we have yet another big one. Tell us about Road America.
Yeah, Soup, Road America, just a little bit over 4 miles in length, and it is definitely going to be another drafting track for these cars, a lot in the way that Suzuka was. So you can expect there to be packs right at the start of this race. Of course, Road America. I'm already wanting to go back to Japan. 1955 is when Road America opened, and the current layout, of course, has been around for quite a long time. Features 14 turns, and a lap record here is just over a minute 39 by Dario Franchitti, way back in 2000, running a kart car here. And for those people that always want to say that we need a NASCAR Sprint Cup race here, did you know that they raced Sprint Cup here? You have to go way back to 1956 to find it, though, and it's all called the Grand National Series. But they have here, and of course they feature the Xfinity Series here now as well, and finally IndyCar trying to come back to the facility. But Road America is always a great place to watch a race, no matter what kind of car you put onto it. Numerous passing zones. And one thing that I think with these Skip Barber cars is going to provide a lot of excitement here for today. So why don't we go ahead and take a lap around Road America. Joe Peak is going to drive the Skip Barber car for us.
Alright, we've got Amjad Yaman in the GSRC Skippy, so let's do a lap around Road America. As you can tell, the front stretch is a long one, and by the time you reach turn 1, you're going to be flying. Turn 1 tends to be a good passing spot, but it's also a medium-speed corner, so it can make outbraking your opponent a tad tricky sometimes. Just make sure not to dip your wheels into the grass on the outside, or else it'll be easy to spin the car across the track and into the barrier on the right. Now we take a trip downhill into 3. This is a very important corner to get right because it takes you into the moraine sweep. Botch the exit, and you'll find yourself a sitting duck the whole way down to turn 5. Of course, even with a good exit, it'll become obvious that the huge draft on the Skippy will keep your opponent within easy reaching distance. Telegraph your moves early if they make a go at you, because the kinks in this stretch can make a simple overtake into a tangled mess of cars at the side of the road. There's going to be a huge braking event here into 5, and it's probably your best chance at a pass during the lap. Expect a few drivers to overshoot the corner at least once during the race because of the precision required into this high-speed braking zone. Now it's back uphill, and we throw the car into the blind turn 6. Turn in too late and expect to mow the lawn around the outside of the bend. If you managed it correctly, though, we've got a little lift into the fast kink of 7, and after that, we head into the hurry downs. This is a place where drivers may try a sneaky pass into 8. However, defending shouldn't be too big of a problem because this square bend leads directly into the carousel. A slow exit won't put you at too much of a disadvantage if you elect to take the inside line on entry. Now, as we continue downhill around the more than 180-degree carousel, it's all about balancing the car on the throttle. Exercise patience and be sure not to get overeager to punch the gas. Once you are able to put the power down, we find ourselves approaching the kink. Even in the underpowered Skippy, this bend can be scary and punishing. There's almost no runoff on either side, so mistakes will be costly. As you can tell, we're deep in the woods now in the Kettle Bottoms. A couple more gentle bends in the road, and then you line up your car for the braking into Canada Corner. Here's a great place for a last gasp overtake if you're in a final lap battle. Once again though, drivers are likely to outbrake themselves as they attempt to go deeper than their rival. After that, we head back uphill through 13 and 13A. You've got to commit through this blind left-hander and stay brave enough to keep your foot in it all the way through. From there, swing the car to the left side of the track, get it slowed down, and really focus on nailing the exit of the last corner. If you screw it up, the uphill climb on the longest straight of the track is going to make you wish you hadn't. Hopefully, you got it right to keep your competitors from breezing past, and as the little Skippy chugs uphill past the pit entry, you finished your lap around Road America.
Joe Peak talks us through a lap at Road America. Right now, let's go ahead and look at the standings after the 4 rounds that wrapped up at Suzuka. Now, Bushfink Aeronum's win streak finally came to an end at the hands of Mama Jean Racing's Tuan Tran. Num remains on top, however. Tran jumped 9 positions and is now tied for 5th with Johan Vanderbilt of DBR Rust Team Talent. No longer racing under the radar is DBR Rust David Third Degree Burns. He's 21 points back in 2nd. A privateer, Pierce Cockey, sits in 3rd, 32 points back, 9 points behind Burns. And then another Mama Jean Racing teammate, Bastian Hausman, moves up a couple spots, gets on the podium, and is now in 4th. Looking at the team championship, no surprise to see Bushfink Pink still out in front by 30 points, thanks mainly to Errol's Num's contribution. Scott Brazier kind of hanging on to the coattails there. 2nd place, up 5 spots. There's a 93-year-old woman watching right now from Lakewood, California. Be still her heart as Mama Jean Racing now sits in 2nd position, yet agreed 30 points back. 5 points a heart ahead of DBR's Rust, manned by the solo effort of David Burns. Up a couple spots is DBR 2 Stupid's Dog, Vincent Brame and Wojciech Podozek, sitting in 4th right now, and then making room for all those guys to move up, dropping 3 spots, is DBR Team Talent. Johan Vanderbilt and Liam Quinn have come on hard times of late, but still sit on the podium. All right, Adam, we've talked about the track. We've gone through the standings. Let's give viewers that are new to this Absolute Beginner League, the Formula Neagle, let's give them an idea of what is in store here with some series details.
Well, I can tell you, it's a pretty fun series to watch. Of course, I love simracing.co.uk, the home for all your personal created button boxes. They do a great product, and they help sponsor the series. It's the 9th series for the Absolute Beginner League, running the Formula, the Skip Barber cars. And, of course, we are running that Skip Barber Formula 2000, and we're running round 5 of 7, all of which are on road courses. 4 of these races are 45 minutes. 3 of them are 70 minutes. We're finding ourselves in a 45-minute race here today. And of course, no drop races in a very short 7-race season. So for the race itself today, we're running an open setup, and fuel is going to be limited about 65%. Now, with the short race and the fuel at 65%, you actually have a pretty large pit window, but with all the drafting that's going to go on here, you're going to see a lot of people try to come in at the same time so they don't lose that pack. So we'll be having a standing start. Yellow's local only, and they cap the incidents here at about 17 with the short race. There are no fast repairs, and the weather is dynamic, and today our weather looks like we're having partly cloudy skies, temperature 84 degrees, and winds out of the south at 8 miles an hour.
Well, Adam, we've done a video lap guide around here, but let's take a second and actually talk about race strategy. It's, it's kind of obvious when we talk about this underpowered car, the Skippy, that it's going to be a draft track wherever we go, but probably Road America There's so many places to get in the tow here, aren't there?
There really is. I mean, you could just glance. Don't even really have to drive here. Just glance at the track map, and you can see 3 distinct areas where you're going to see plenty of drafting that's going to go on as far as long straights. And of course, at the end of each of those long straights, you have a tight corner that's really going to help promote passing at the end. So, how much position swapping is going to go on? Are we going to see, a lot of, maybe the first place change hands numerous times? Or are people going to stay calm and just stay nose to tail and ride it out for a little while and try to get down to the last 15 minutes and see what happens? So it's, you definitely have your options for your strategy here.
A few places at Road America, and when I say if you were buying a ticket, from my understanding is Road America is pretty much buy a ticket. You get to wander around to wherever you want to go. I'd like to stand by turn 5. That's that left-hander that comes about midway through the track. A lot of passing excitement there. Also, maybe down in Canada, and even turn 1 can be exciting as they get a draft going into that sweeping right-hander. So plenty of places to get the passing done. And if past history is any indication of what's in store for today, we're going to look at a pack. It's going to be a question of, Adam, what so often is, how long can you stay on the Aero Num train? And sure enough, right now, looking at the qualifying times, he's back up at the top of the charts again. Usually it starts off with a large train, and then little by little it shrinks. How many will be left at the end is the question.
Yeah, and I think at Suzuka, there 2 weeks ago, we ended up getting whittled down to about 6 cars in the lead pack. I think maybe 7, and then of course the pit stops happened, and then we ended up having 2 packs of 3 cars. So I'd expect something similar to happen here today.
Just an update on some of the drivers that are familiar to this series. Ricard Allard is not here today, and Cooper Collier. Both of those drivers bowing out after putting in some stints in the 24-hour race that just went on. Of course, that was the 24-hour Le Mans. It took a lot out of them, so they're going to sit out today. But even with their absence, we still have a large field. We count down here 26 drivers has actually put in qualifying time. 2 drivers have not been able to do that yet. 28 drivers names on the entry list. Remember, to post a qualifying time, they have to be able to put in a clean lap. Okay, now it's time for the fan favorite segment. Here we go. It's going to remain Peaks Podium Picks, even though Adam's doing a lot of these races. We'll rename it as soon as Adam gets one right. Adam, you don't have to get the order right, but all you got to do is pick the podium. It seems like such an easy thing to do. I don't know what's taking you guys so long to do it. Who are your picks today?
Well, first and foremost, the obvious pick for the top of the podium is going to be Aero Num. He's dominant in practice today, dominant in qualifying. I mean, his times aren't even close compared to everybody else. Second is Tuan Tran. I think that's an obvious second pick. Again, second place, but a dominant second place in both practice and qualifying here so far. Third place gets a little trickier, because then you got some people that were fast in practice, not fast in qualifying. You've been watching them and see how they handle and stuff in both practice and qualifying. I'm gonna go a little deeper. I'm gonna go Vincent Brem. I'm gonna go in a gamble and go Vincent Brem for third. We'll see what happens.
Certainly, he has seen the podium before, and now qualifying is done. So with a large field, let's go through the grid. We'll take them 10 at a time here to make sure we get everybody up there. On the front row, it's going to be Aero Num and Tuan Tran. Second row, Bastian Hausman and Wojciech Podolzek. Row 3 is going to be made up of David Burns and Vincent Brame. The next row is Piers Cockey and Mikael Hoffendassen. The positions 9 and 10 go to Mark Friguras and Rodrigo Capiletto Fiefriera. Okay, 11th spot, Adam?
Yeah, we had Rodrigo in our split for the 24-hour Le Mans last night. 11th, our very own GSRC's Richard Losper. In 12th, Richard Klum. 13th, Liam Quinn. And 14th, Frederick Neptune. 15th, on the inside of row 8, Mark King. Outside of row 8, Edgar Sentinelli. And the 17th, Michael Parks. 18th is Darren Kuhn. 19th, Rolf Just. And on the outside of row 10, starting in 20th, Mark Riddell.
Hidden Blackjack, Michael Key, Daniel Kruger outside of him. Thomas Kick and Kevin Mills make up the next row. Jeff DeHaas in the 25th position. Adam Olson out there in 26th. Did Andy Morgan take the grid? He sure did. Didn't put in the time in 27th. I don't think Brandon Hearing is going to get out there. All right, the drivers are moving to the grid right now. Still waiting for everybody to circle in and get their spots. Waiting for the number 2 driver, Tuan Tran, to take that position. He's going to take a late entry to make sure that that the announcer can get all the names in. So Tron, bring that in there. You're making Mama Jean nervous. Still waiting for Tran to get that pink and black Mama Jean car on the grid. 27 drivers on the grid right now, and there comes the Mama Jean car. Gather up the chickens, take cover behind the cows, because the horses are about to leave the barn. There they go, they're out of the barn. Arrow Numb out in front. Tuan Tran tucks right in behind them. There we go. In third position, Bastian Hausman looking for a way around as they work their way into that first right-hander. Tran now side by side on the outside, going to challenge for the lead early. And he backs out, probably a wise decision, drops back in. So far, everyone, Adam, looking clean through one as the crowd gets through.
Yeah, sometimes with these open wheel cars, one is actually really easy to get to is the second corner that sometimes, because initially as you see Arrow Numb, he's pretty much dirt tracking it through the corner there, lost a little bit of time, and Tuan Tran's going to try to take advantage here, looking to make a pass on Arrow Numb.
All 27 cars clean so far. They're stretched out nicely. Now, here we go. This is, they head down into this corner. This is the one I talked about. This one gets pretty scary. Dive down in there, so far so good, and Tran now still trying to make it work on the outside. I think Tran's going to have the momentum on the outside. Did he get a slowdown penalty for going too wide? I don't think so. Numb dropping back into third position. Tran out in front, Dunham second, Bastian Hausman in third, David Burns in fourth, and then rounding out the top 5, Adam's pick for the podium, Vincent Brame.
Yeah, so far you're very clean. You're starting to see that single file try to take shape. We're going to start seeing these guys draft. Just like stock cars in Daytona and Talladega, you don't want to get too far out in front. Your speed differences between practice, which was group, and qualifying, which was single, you're talking about almost a half-second difference between speeds. So you don't want to get too far out in front and lose the draft.
Leaders work their way through the carousel, now through the kink. Again, 27 cars, all clean. That's one of the reputations of this series, is that they have good, clean racing throughout the whole pack. And so far, that remains to be true as they work their way down the straight. Now we have a pass for the lead going into corner, into Canada. Arrow Numb takes it over. Tran surrenders it back in second again. Bastian Hausman, Burns, and Grimm just holding station.
Yeah, a little bit of action in the back of the field going at about 25th, 20th, that range. Ralph Just and Thomas Kick had a little bit of contact. There you go, get very close. Thomas Kick almost gets to the outside, and Kevin Mills gets a little squirrely trying to figure out what's going to happen between the two of them. But they're trying to get sorted out as Kevin Mills slides a little bit wide. Lots of action in the back part of the track, that's for sure.
Mills was involved, Kick was involved. That was some interesting stuff going on back there. Ahead of it, Adam Olson. Everything, though, still clean so far. Let's go ahead and run down. We talked about the top 5. Let's go ahead and run down your second 5 for you. Right now, Pierce Cockey just got around Michael Hoffendawson, moving into 6th. Hoffendawson in 7th. Wojciech Podozek in 8th position, challenging Hoffendawson, looking for a way around there. Watching the whole thing is Mark Verguras in 9th, and then rounding out your top 10, Rodrigo Ferreira. In fact, here's a pass. Let's jump up to 8th position now. That's Wojciech Podozek trying to make a move on Hoffendawson. Podozek's going to be on the outside here. Let's see if he can get momentum as they work their way through this corner. Oh, it's going to be close, and both drivers seem to manage to get it done. Hoffendawson able to protect that position. Now peeking up on the inside. Here comes Verguras. Oh my goodness, Wojciech Podozek. They actually interlock wheels, but it's okay. They managed to get it done. Podozek really crowding Verguras here. They interlock wheels again. Oh!
Woo, almost shoved him right into the grass right there. That was about as close as you can get without having a big incident right there, I think, and both cars staying relatively straight. That's one thing I noticed about Podium here for today is he can be really fast, you know, if he keeps his car clean, but he had some issues in traffic a little bit too running in practice. So, you know, he's okay so far, but we'll have to keep an eye on him.
You can see on that long camera angle there as they come towards you, as they work their way through the kink. The 3 cars out in front now, we talked about hanging on to the Aero Num train. Well, right now, it's Num out in front for Bush Fink Pink. And then it's 2 Mama Jean racing cars behind them. That is Tran in the pink and black car, and then Bastian Hausman in the black and pink car. Apparently Mama Jean colors those in mirrored colors so you can tell them apart. But Bush Fink Pink out in front right now. I guess it's purple and black, not pink and black.
They got the two-face thing going on, you know, the other car's reversed from the other two.
Just to help you out, yellow wheels on Tran as he's making the move right now. Orange wheels on Bastian Hausman, passing the white-rimmed car of Aero Num. But again, it's early days. These guys are just out there. What they are happy about is they've turned a 27-car battle into a 3-car battle as Bastian Hausman has a 2-second lead back to Brim, who just is in a battle now with third-degree burns. Brim in the 25 machine. You can see there we're looking at our leaders. There they are, just coming over the hill. That's another 3-car battle. And this is what Adam talked about, Adam. 3 cars and 3 cars, similar to what we saw at Suzuka.
Yeah, very similar to what we saw at Suzuka so far. It was that second 3-car pack. That got a little interesting there coming out of the corner with Vincent Brem. And then even behind these guys, you have another 3-car pack for 7th, 8th, and 9th. So that seems to be the trend. And then a little bit of a kind of a broken 5-car pack even behind them. So you're seeing the packs develop.
Now, one of the more talkative drivers coming over there, Mikael Hoffendas, and he is not scared to talk about. He's probably one of the most vocal drivers out there, doing a lot of talking right now. He's currently running in 8th position, right behind Wojciech Podolski, kind of doing a little air traffic control, trying to make sure everyone stays in line right now, or at least knows where everyone's going. Rodrigo Fierra back there in 9th.
And I noticed that Mark Figueroa was lost his front wing, and I had to go back and look and found him at turn 14 here on this last lap. Ended up taking a very, very exciting trip through the gravel, and I think that aluminum front wing is sitting back there somewhere.
Unlike IndyCar or Formula One, actually sometimes those drivers lose the front wing. I think they actually go faster. These cars don't have a lot of speed, and those front wings don't really give you a lot of downforce. Force. They're almost on there as a decoration sometimes, so don't be surprised if just because you don't have a front wing on there, you're still not fast. 3 cars out in front remain the same. What has happened is Vincent Brim running in 6th position. He's starting to be gobbled up by Wojciech Podolski.
And I was just watching those guys here just a minute ago. I could have sworn that Vincent Brem was pump drafting. I want to say it was Piers Cocky just a few minutes ago. So don't be surprised if you see that a little bit too. I mean, these guys are going to be trying to push every little 1/10 of a second that you can. And the front noses on these cars are wide enough that, sometimes you can use the iRacing physics to your advantage and be able to help push somebody.
As we watch this, there is a pass for the lead as Tran gets around one more time. That's something we're going to see a lot here over the next 36 minutes. It's really not a violent pass. It's almost like a surrender. Remember, they start with the same amount of fuel, but that doesn't mean they burn the same amount of fuel. Tran and Num have been leading the way for the entire, we've been racing here for about 9 minutes. The guy who's been sitting back right now is the guy we're riding on board with right now. That's Bastian Hausman. He's just been sitting back there lifting, saving fuel. Expect him to have a short pit stop as the guys in front are having a lot more fun. As we see this, you can see right ahead. Let's ride on board. We'll watch this pass on board with Hausman. That's Num tucking to the inside and actually getting it done.
You know, that's strategy right there. Just kind of swapping the lead on these long straights that as you head into the tight corners. That's actually going to make your pack faster because the front car is going to have the most resistance. They're going to be the one that'll slow you down quite a bit. So if you swap leads like that, you're able to keep using that draft advantage from second, and so that's kind of what's helping these top three pull away from that second, now 4-car pack back there. So that'll be something to keep an eye on. Well, I guess now kind of a broken pack of 5.
Yeah, they're all coming back there in that pack. Just to follow up on your point, the front car remains the same speed. The back car comes around, and if it can make the pass without slowing down the front car, if you can do it cleanly, and that's the way that Num and Tran are playing leapfrog, then every time that pass is made, they gain 3 or 4 car spots, 3 or 4 car lanes. Then they do it again, 3 or 4 car lanes. Then we talked about now this pack. We talked about Pierce, Burns, and Brim. Remember, they were the pack of 3. Well, like Adam has said, it's kind of broken up because Wojciech Podolsek has ran them down. He's now running in 7th. He's looking to get around Brim right now. In fact, let's go ahead and watch it. Look at this. He's going to move to the inside. He's going to have good position as they head up here into the right-hander. Down into Canada, and he gets that done. So Podolsek up into 6th. Next on his list to see if he can get behind Pierce Cockey, the privateer. You look on those standings there, DBR Russ, that's 2 Stupid Dogs for Podolsek, and Vincent Bring Racing for DBR 2 Stupid Dogs. So 2 teammates running back-to-back. These drivers take as much pride in winning the team championship as they do the individual championships. So there's a couple non-intelligent canines doing pretty well right now.
You know, as bad as it sounds, I've been racking my brain for about the last 5 minutes trying to remember the term leapfrog. Not going to lie to you.
Well, you got to be young at heart to remember that.
Oh, man, usually that comes right up. But, man, today, nope. Must have been all the stints in the 24 hours of working today, or the last of my own 24 hours.
A lot of Scandinavian drivers in this series, and if any of their fans are watching, if you could tell us how to say leapfrog in Norwegian, that would be very cool. Again, look at this battle. Let's go up front here for again. It's Tran and Num again, and watching the whole thing back there in that car number 181. Look for him to have a fast pit stop. That's Bastian Hausmann. Hausmann in those orange rims. And that lead now from Hausmann back to those other drivers, it was 2.5 seconds last time I talked to you. Now it's 4.3 seconds. Well, we talked about the drivers 1 through 5, and then we talked about 5 through 10. Let's look back at the drivers in 11th position. Nice little battle going on. We'll start with 10th. That's Frederick Neptune up there in 10th position, being challenged by Liam Mr. Excitement Quinn. And remember, Quinn is racing for DBR Team Talent. They are in the team championship as well. Mark Faguras back there in 12th, so a nice 3-car battle there. If you drop back a little bit, Global Sim Racing Channel's GSRC's own Richard Losper running in 13th. Remember, he's from Australia. It's the middle of, my goodness, it must be the middle of Monday morning, I think, for him. And then 14th and 15th, a nice little battle here between Michael Parks and Richard Colomb.
Yeah, going a little bit further back, Darren Kuhn has just taken 16th position for Mark Riddell here in this last lap, and then not too far behind him, kind of hanging on just barely to the coattails of Mark Riddell's draft, is going to be Edgar Sanginelli, and he's got his own hands full with Adam Olafson. He's looking not going to be able to complete the pass right there, and then behind them they got Mark King running in 20th.
And we talk about the team championship. Remember, points go farther down this series, go all the way down, I believe, to it's about 20th position. So all those points, every position matters in that quest to get your team up. Let's go to 5th position right now, as it looks like David Burns is being challenged by Pierce Cockey. There we go, Burns making a move. He's got a little bit of momentum. I think he's going to get this done.
No, we're just going to go ahead and go 3 wide.
My gosh, look at this, coming from 3rd. Making the move is Wojciech Podolsek. We've been watching him work his way up, remember? We saw him get around, oh my gosh! So he gets around Cockey, he gets around Byrne in one shot. We saw him earlier, gets around Vincent Brim. Hoffendawson in the mix now. That's a nice 5-car battle back there. And Adam, these 5 guys are not playing as friendly as the 3 guys up in front of them. This is a little more aggressive.
Yeah, this definitely isn't the leapfrog mentality. This is I want to try to get out in front and stay out in front of you, keep you behind me. But you know, you can see how that draft takes place. Their teammates trying to work their way back around Podizek after that pass, but Podizek's pretty strong here. I think Podizek he'll find himself out in front of this little pack here before too long.
Rather than leapfrog, it looks more like a game of musical chairs where somebody stops the music and people are fighting for that last spot. A lot of elbowing going on back there. Right now, Cocky back out in front of the Polish driver Wojciech Podizek. We'll stay on this a little bit because this is where my spidey senses are saying that the action is going to happen. As we are about 30 minutes into the race right now.
If you've never driven one of these cars, of course, you got really narrow tires and relatively small wings. And you don't have a whole lot of downforce that's produced by this car. I mean, you'd have less, of course, if you didn't have wings. But it really lends itself to the kind of the sliding around that you're going to see quite a bit out of some of these guys. Granted, Podizek's back there in turn one was a little bit much, but you're going to definitely see these guys slide through the majority of corners at least a little bit.
Well, these cars are so underpowered, you put much downforce in them, they'd have a hard time moving forward.
This is very true, as Piers Cocky decides that the gravel trap and some of the grass needed to be knocked down just a touch, but he retains his position as leader of this pack.
And now those three cars, Cocky, Podizek, and Burns, begin to pull away a little bit from Hoffman, Dawson, and Grimm. It's a good battle. Then you can see that lone car way in the back of your screen there. That's Rodrigo Ferreira running in ninth all by himself. He's very lonely. Frederick Neptune, if we drop back one spot, another guy who's lonely. About as lonely as the planet Neptune, I think, right now is Frederick. In his own orbit. Then there's a little battle behind. Now we look at this. Here we go. That's Figueres. Mark Figueres in 12th being challenged. Oh, up in front, it's Losper. I think Losper just gets around Figueres. And the window has opened as Mr. Excitement Liam Quinn comes into the pits. Remember, we talked about a big window. Well, this is the front part of it.
Well, he's pitting alone, too, which I'll have to see how that works out for him. You know, it's going to be much more advantageous if he would have had other people come in with him, but you know, we'll have to see how that works out.
In fact, Liam looks like it's going to come out. Is there going to be anybody next to him? No, the next car behind him is your leader, Tuan Tran, and that's quite a ways away. I think Quinn might be the last car racing right now. Have we lost David Kruger? I think David Kruger, for some reason, Daniel Kruger has called it a day.
And, of course, while we were watching Liam Quinn pit, David Burns has taken over the lead of the second pack, getting around both Piers and Podizek here this last lap.
Well, since things are settling down a little bit, let's go to 15th position. Give a little attention to some of these guys. Mark Riddle back there in 15th being challenged by Darren Kuhn. Not a real battle going on there. Kuhn just kind of following him around. They work through this left-hander. But not far behind them, Edgar Sanchinelli, Adam Olesen, and Mark King, as there's another five-car battle back there with the leader of the train, Mark Riddell, in 15th. There you can see all the cars on the same screen. As you get this long shot from Dougie Beard. That's a good shot right there. They leave away going under that Hawk banner. Again, Michael Hoffman-Dawson coming over the mic, giving some directions, telling them what runway to bring the airplane in on.
You didn't know that he had the little marshalling flags?
Right. Big news. Errol Num has come in. He has broken off. Now, what has to happen from Tran and Houseman? I'm telling you, boys, unless you think the two of you can go faster than Num can by himself, you want to come in and cover this pit stop. Num is in early. Remember, he is your pole sitter. He is your fastest qualifier. He was the fastest qualifier by about 0.2 of a second. So Tran and Houseman have to be careful not to stay out there too long. Num's going to have 4 miles all by himself to see if he can distance himself. He's in his pit box. Looking right now, oh my goodness, what did we just watch there? And we lost Houseman. No, it was Tran who we lost. Tran with the half spin was really putting down the laps. He got the left side tires out on the grass. Look at this save as he goes it. Look at this, Adam. He's able to gather it up. There's not a lot of traction on that alfalfa.
Oh, that was great driving there by Tuan Tran. Many drivers have lost it right there and find themselves in the tires at the inside or the concrete on the inside of that corner. But Tuan's able to keep it together and get back up on the asphalt. Now, if you're Houseman, you've got a decision to make now. Come in or not to come in. If I was Houseman, I mean, you're all alone once again. You know you're not going to be able to keep up the Num's pace. I'd come in and hopefully be able to latch on to Num when he comes back around, since you're going to have to take less fuel.
Oh, that's exactly right. That's exactly the strategy. Let's hope that Bastian is listening to you here. First of all, his pit stop should be shorter because he was following those two drivers the whole time. You know you're not as fast. You were the third fastest qualifier, but you really weren't in the same ballpark as Num. Come on in, get fuel, and see if you can come back out in the toe of Num. Meanwhile, we talked about Tran. I think what happened was if you get inside the helmet of the Netherlands driver there, he knew that Num was in. He was trying to put down a hot lap, and he pushed it a little bit too far. Lost a lot of time. Fortunately for Tran, he's able to stay ahead of David Byrne, still running in third. But I think that could be a tough row to hoe now for Tran. He's got to come in, I would think, pit here. Or maybe he decides to stay out and race with the guys behind him. We'll see how this plays out.
And also, Michael Parks fans, he is disconnected from the server, maybe called it a day. He was running 14th.
Oh, I do not like this. Do not like this position from Houseman as he stays out. So do the rest of them. So let's give you an interval now from, since we'll actually do it officially here when they cross the line. We'll see the interval between Houseman and Num. A while before air goes around. On our active timing and scoring, it looks like it's going to be about 34 seconds. We'll give you the actual time as they cross the line. Bastian must be happy he's out there all in front by himself right now. Now remember, this is a really, really, really large pit window, so don't be surprised if he decides to stay out. He may decide to run this thing all the way till maybe even a couple laps to the end. That's how big the window is.
Yeah, he could be very well also waiting for, to see what kind of lap time Num's running by himself compared to, well, what he's capable of running. Num, of course, he doesn't have any drafting help right now, but of course neither does Bastian, so we'll see.
Well, the problem is, though, Num was about 0.3 of a second faster in qualifying, and there's not a lot of help there either. What's going on behind in this next pack here? Tran, Burns, Cocky, and Poldezek. They were kind of in diamond formation there, racing like in America here, we call them the Blue Angels. It's kind of our stunt Army or Air Force. Blue Angels might be Navy.
Blue Angels is Navy, Thunderbirds is Air Force.
There we go. Well, what they were flying in formation, let me tell you that. That 4-car train now, that's second through fifth. Tran, Burns, Cocky, and Poldezek. You wanted to know that number back to Num. Let's see if I can find it. It looks like it was 33.9 seconds. So you guys who are scoring at home, or even if you're watching alone, mark that in on your paper there, 33.9, and that was with about 23 minutes to go in the race. We'll see if that shrinks or maintains itself, or if Houseman is able to increase it. Num currently running in 13th. He's all by himself. I guess that's good news. He doesn't have any traffic in front of him. Richard Colomb is about 5 seconds ahead. Yeah, Houseman stays out one more time. I think he's already made his decision now. I think he's going to stay out for as long as he can. Now here comes the train behind. Everybody's in. Tran, Burns, Cocky, and Poldezek. And that's a good idea that they all pit together. I'll be surprised, Adam, if they can get out here. Num should be able to get around and take this lead. Watch for these guys to come out as fast as they can. You have to worry they take enough fuel as Num working his way around that final corner right now.
Yeah, and of course this group will be interesting to see because you have a whole bunch of guys with varied scenarios here through the race so far. Who's burned the most fuel, who hasn't? Podijek's probably burned the most out of everybody with the way he's had to come through. But here comes Num down the front straightaway across the start-finish line. He's going to pass these guys in the pits real easy.
Yeah, they're just pulling into their box right now. The first one out, it looks like it's going to be Tran in that purple and black machine. They come out pretty much in the order they go in. Cocky, Potosek, and Burns. Now, they're going to come out kind of in a mixture here of traffic. They pull out in the mix here some people that don't belong in this party. Mark Riddell is in there. Darren Kuhn. These are all guys who have yet to make their pit stop. So let me just update you. That's Tran out in front of that purple and black machine. Then there's Kuhn running in 9th. He still needs to come in. Cocky, though, has made a stop running in 10th. Riddell needs to come in. He's in 11th. Podosek in 12th, he's made his stop. Burns has also made his stop.
Just looking at lap times here, Euro was over a second faster, or almost a second faster than what Bastian's able to run right now.
32, he knocked off 32.6. I believe he knocked off 1.3 seconds since the last lap. My dad used to call this the early peel, late reveal strategy, where a driver peels in early and you kind of forget about him, and then what is revealed at the end, you find out he's in front. Right now, you kind of, if you don't pay attention, you're kind of forgetting about Aaron Num back there running in about, what is he, 6th or 7th right now? Running in 7th, yeah. Just kind of put him out of your mind, but when the cycle ends, all of a sudden, hey, there he is. Houseman out in front. You see him right there. Let's go back to second position. It's the air traffic controller, Michael Hoffendawson, running in second. Of course, he still needs to make his stop as well, all by himself. He was running behind that pack that is all pitted. Rodrigo Vieira in third, again, all by himself. And then we get to Tran. Now, Tran has really distanced himself from Cocky.
Get mixed up in some of that slower traffic right out of pit lane. That kind of helped with that situation. Those guys have had to try to fight through them, where Twan was able to get right out in front of them going into turn 1 earlier.
Another interval we'll have to keep track on is the interval between Houseman and Tran, because while it's pretty much assumed that Houseman's going to surrender that spot to Aero Num, he does want to be too slow, or he falls himself losing position. He may find himself losing positions to Tran or Cocky or Podosek.
Now, it's my understanding, just to eliminate any shadow of a doubt, that even with 65% fuel in a 45-minute race, Bastian has no hope of trying to make it all the way, does he? Could that be why he's running a second slower right now?
I can't imagine that at Road America he would be able to do it, because you're on the throttle so much here. We've seen Tran get to within a lap, but it was at a much less gas-guzzling venue. But maybe he's going to try it. Maybe he thinks he can manage the gap. Let's look back. The gap to Num is 32 seconds. I'm always one for drama, so let's go ahead and think that it's a possibility. Let's look at this now. Here's something that Num hasn't counted for, is he's in traffic. He's negotiating his way through Richard Losper, who's running in 6th. Now he's got Ricard Colon up in front of him, Richard Colon. I think I have 2 Richards there. I think they spelled their name the same. I think one is Richard, one's going to be Ricard, I believe. Colon is... We'll find out if that's true or not. And then we have Ricard Allard too, but he's not racing thanks to the Le Mans. Took a toll on him. Num up to 4th now as he works his way through the 2 Richards, Colomb and Losper. Let's stay on this battle a little bit, though. We can watch this battle here between the Richards. This is a battle for 5th. Losper, newcomer to the series. He's been racing in the other series that the Absolute Beginner League runs, not covered on GSRC, and that is the Tony Hayes Cup. That's a little mixed racing. I believe that is GT3, maybe the Roof and the MX-5, if I remember right. It's the C-Spec. There we go. So right now, Richard has crossed over, got into an open-wheel car. Lost where I'm talking about, running right now in 6th position behind Richard Colomb. Num beginning to pull away. Hausman has about an 11-second lead over Hoffendawson, and it has about a 3-second lead over Ferreira. Let's go back and check in on Tran real quick. You can see the Tran has really pulled away now from Cocky. Maybe this is something we need to keep an eye on. Remember, Tran was fast in qualifying. He was your second fastest qualifier. He's out there in fresh air right now, has nobody to slow him down. Maybe he can go a pace where he can make up for that mistake that he has. He has to be kicking himself, Adam, for that little trip through the fescue.
Yeah, but, you know, even with that, he has a pretty decent chance of bringing home the podium still. So, you know, not all is lost.
Hoffman-Dawson has a spin. He spun it. I believe that's corner 5. No, it's not. It's not. It's corner 6, I think. Yep. That's the second left-hander there. He spins it right in front of Ferreira. He gets around him. Hoffman-Dawson drops back to 3rd position now. He gets out in front of, well, Errol Num's going to be a lot closer to him than he was before.
I've never driven a car here that just didn't feel light as you go underneath that Corvette bannered bridge. GT1s, in my opinion, are the worst going through there, but these cars, pretty much the same. It just the rear end feels light, and it's really easy to loop it if you get on the gas just a little too hard.
Let's drop back to 9th position real quick. Take a look at David Burns. Remember, he was in that 4-car pack earlier. He's back there in another battle. Votek Podosek again with more cars to get around. Votek has probably passed more cars on the track than anybody here today. He must have had a bad pit stop because now he's got to get around 3rd degree Burns. Burns, of course, running 2nd in the points, back in 9th. This is going to hurt him. What a great camera shot. Doug, you did a nice job as we are under the nose cone of the Polish driver, looking ahead at Burns. I could just watch this for hours. That is so cool. You can see the curbing here, Adam, is really not that thick. There's not a real, you can really kind of go across the curbing. It doesn't hurt your cars quite so much here at Road America.
Yeah, you're able to hit them, which is nice. I mean, it's not like some places, like, you know, we keep bringing up the 24 hours in Le Mans that, you know, took place yesterday, well, into this morning. And those curves there, I mean, some of them are big. I mean, they'll damage your car if you hit them. But here, they're nice and smooth. They're kind of more to let you know, hey, if you go any further, you're going to hit some grass, as opposed to, you know, trying to keep you between the white lines.
Houseman now we look at, still out in front. Give a tip of the hat here to Jeff DeHaas. Didn't have it on screen, but he did a good job of getting out of the way of some faster cars coming through. Bear claw for you, Jeff, next time at the Backmarker United meeting. There he is. Currently running in 27th position. Beautiful yellow machine. Double touch yellow. David Burns back around Podosek now. Podosek had got around him. We saw it earlier. Burns gets it back in the 9th position. Things are settling down. Is there anybody we haven't given much love to here yet? Somebody who hasn't made it on. How about a little look at Michael Key? What's up with Michael Key? He's always a favorite. Running in 22nd position right now, all by himself. Hi, Michael. How you doing? Friends and family of Michael. Edgar Sancinelli running in 20th position, 2 spots up above Key. Running all by himself. And that's actually 18th position, I guess, for Sanchez. Now we're going to look at Kick. We saw him have a little bit of an issue earlier on where it got a little bit exciting. Kick running there in 14th. Maybe has chance of getting up to Mr. Excitement. Liam Quinn running in 13th. Kick, an independent driver, privateer. Quinn, of course, DVR team talent. right, now let's go back to this battle. Here comes Tuan Tran. Remember how we saw this battle between the Richards? And we saw Errol Num get through it. Well, now it's Tuan Tran's turn to get through it, but not only Tran, but Pierce Cockey behind him. Tran does not want to take a lot of time here to get around the Richards. And that's one way to do it when Cologne pulls off into the pits. So 1 down, 1 to go. Pierce Cockey, always a fast driver, has the reputation of being horrible with fuel calculation. Either takes too much, which is costly, or too little, which is deadly. And Tran makes his way around Losper right now. Losper, an experienced driver, even though he's not being shown the blue screen, he's well aware that these guys are not on the same pit strategy with him and basically just surrenders that spot. Hausman out in front. The interval not as bad as we would have, 33.2.
Yeah, some of the traffic that Euro is had to try to work through has kind of helped, I guess, stop the bleeding, so to speak. I mean, as far as the time, but even then, now that Euro's back has clear track in front of him, we can watch that number start to go down again.
Num, the rolling Estonian, running in 4th. Now our live timing of that, the 33.2 was the time across the line. We're looking live timing at 31. So yeah, he is bringing it in, closing the gap. Nine minutes to go, just under 10 minutes. Bastian Hausman out in front, yet to make that stop. We know that he cannot go the distance. Now I have to address the age-old thought, where the longer he runs, the less fuel he needs to take. It doesn't matter. In fact, as he comes in right now, they start with the same amount of fuel. They need to take the same amount of fuel, whether they take it early or late. Imagine yourself leaving your garage and you have to go to work and you don't have enough gas. You can fill it up at the gas station right around the corner from your house or right before you get to work, but you still need to take the same amount of fuel. Hausman in the pits right now. So let's watch. Oh, Fiera also coming in. Let's see if Hoffendawson is going to come in. I think it might be time for him. And sure enough, so that's going to turn the lead over. Here comes Num. He goes past pit entrance right now. Remember,
Bastian hits his box.
This could be close. Num is just crossing the start-finish line. Hausman's got to start rolling now. He better start rolling. There goes the rolling Estonian. Rolls right by. Now the next question is Hausman going to get out before Tran? And I don't think so. Here comes a Tran. And he gets out in front of Hausman. Look at Hausman's going to tuck in behind Cockey and Tran. So 2, 3, 4. Tran, Cockey, and Hausman. Burns and Podosek now are going to slot in 5th and 6th position. That Losper has finally pulled away. Fiera in 7th. Director, I got to give a shout out here to the driver at 8th. Car number 666. Lucky I'm not superstitious, or I probably wouldn't even address this one. Eric Neptune. Halloween coming up for Neptune. That's probably a favorite holiday for a driver who numbered his car 666.
Or just a real big Iron Maiden fan.
There you go. Or maybe he wants his car to be 999 in case it gets turned over.
Ah, there we go.
So that's a nice run from Neptune.
Man, now I got Number of the Beast stuck in my head.
He's having a nice run in 8th position. So, let me round out your top 10 for you. We talked about Richard Losper. I believe he finally took that pit stop, so now he's running in 9th, just ahead of Neptune. Oh, I apologize. Looking at an old timing, you're right. It is 13th. So let's see who is our 9th place driver then. Mr. Seidman, Liam Quinn. Just ahead of Michael Hoffendawson. So there we go. Dawson in the 81 machine, Quinn in the 14 car. So there's your top 10. But the leader of the pack, the Roland Estonian Aero Num, came in early, ran some hot laps. People tried to cover, some people tried to stay out. Well, he's got a 2nd-7 lead now with 6 minutes to go. Should be a nice Sunday drive from him. The real excitement is going to be back here for 2nd position. Let's go ahead and look at that. It's Tuan Tran as he's being challenged now. Pierce Cocky making a move on the inside as they go into 1. There, we get it. Hausman back in there looking for somewhere to go. Cocky, the privateer driver, not racing for anybody. Somebody really needs to sign him. It'd be very helpful on your team to have his points. Driving in that 24 machine. Then the 2 Mama Jean racing cars back behind him. Of course, Bush Pink is Aero Num out in front. Num's partner, Scott Brazier, not here today. So Num's going to have to do it alone, but when you finish first, that's about all you need to do. Here comes another pass here. It's Tran working around Cocky.
Tuan, that was a fairly aggressive move compared to what we've been seeing out of Tuan, but nonetheless able to take 2nd place pretty solidly. Here's Cocky landscaping.
Yeah, but Cocky surrendered both of those positions and then really having some fun getting that rear end of the car really loose.
Well, maybe we'll see some of the Mama Jean teammates here work together here over the next couple laps and see what they can do at Pierce.
That's going to settle down for a little bit. Let's drop back to 5th real quick and talk about this battle for the final spot on the podium. You got Burns running in 5th. And then right behind him, Votek Podusek. Can we put the team up there, Director, if that's possible? See who Burns is racing for? There we go, DBR Russ. Look what we can do here at GSRC. Burns for DBSR Russ, and of course Podusek, one of those unintelligent canines. DBR standing for Damaged Beyond Recognition.
I like that name.
DBR Russ, DBR Stu the Dogs, and DBR Team Talent. 3 cousin teams for that organization. 3 minutes to go, lap times of about 2:33, so Num just crossing the start-finish line right now. I would say this will be the penultimate lap. Next time around would be the white flag.
Bastian's going to make a move on his teammate Tuan Tran here and try to take over 2nd as they head down the front straight.
And with apologies to all the back markers, friends and family of the people running 14th, 15th, and 20th, and 19th, and 18th and 32nd. Most of our attention is going to be up front now for these final 2 laps. We'll focus on this Hausman, Tran, and Cocky battle. Keep an eye back there for the Burns and Podusek battle as well. Burns and here we go. We see Tran getting a little bit loose and talk about doing a little landscaping. Pierce Cocky. Here comes the yellow. My apologies. That was Hausman that got loose. Here comes the yellow-rimmed car of Tran now on the inside. Tran in the yellow-rimmed black and purple car around the orange-rimmed purple and black car of those Mama Jean racing machines. Tran up into 2nd. Adam, we talked about Mama Jean Racing having a good week. Here's another one as they're not going to get the win, but they're looking to go 2nd and 3rd again, or at least if they can hold off Cocky.
And claiming possibly 2 or 3 spots on the podium, that's a good day.
Cocky's got to feel a little bit outnumbered here as he's got those 2 teammates out in front of him.
Well, you know as well as I do, sometimes when the money's on the line here coming down to the end, teammates ain't going to matter too much during that last lap. You know, these guys, they're don't forget that they're 4th and 5th in the driver's standings, only separated by 1 point. Pierce Cocky's in front of both of them running in 3rd, so they don't think that points are not on their mind.
As far as Peak's podium picks go, well, we have Aero Num. Looks like he's going to get a podium right now. Tuan Tran was another pick. But Vincent Brame, currently running back in 10th position.
Two out of three is good, right?
And we look at this right now. This is a nice little battle. We'll cover this at the very end, but a nice little battle for 10th between Brame, Quinn, and let's see who else is in that. Hoffendawson, 9th, 10th, and 11th. We'll cover that one on that last lap as well. That's a good battle going on. Not much to cover up front with Num. We'll make sure we get him crossing the start-finish line. Our director looking at that 10th battle there. Num crosses the line right now, working on the white flag lap. Just over 4 miles to go, about 2 minutes and a half, and we'll have ourselves a winner. Go ahead.
Bastion's going to try to take second here from Twan as they head down the front stretch. Piers Cocky was kind of deciding what he wanted to do, who he wanted to follow, but looks like he's going to go ahead and stay back there. Possibly in the catbird seat here. Teammates end up mixing it up here on the last lap.
Hausman out in front now. The next passing spot would be the right-hander that comes up right here. This is turn number 5. This is an exciting spot to pass. Doesn't look like anybody's going to do it here. Well, maybe I spoke too soon. Is Tran with a bit of a run? Is he going to peek to the inside? Sure enough. Hausman surrenders that spot. Not going to put up a fight. Cocky, no room for him to get into this reindeer game right now. Rudolph, you'll have to wait a little while. Hausman with not a great exit through 5, but so far doing okay. They work their way through 6. Then a few more corners, they'll be into the carousel and then down the straight to the kink. Everything looking good from the Roland Estonian right now. He works his way through 7. That lead is about 6 seconds. Our leader now into the carousel. Here comes Tran into the carousel with Hausman behind him.
This won't be over until the start-finish line. There's enough room between the last corner and the start-finish line for a move to be made, so this is going to get exciting here.
I wouldn't be surprised if these guys just kind of hold station right here and see if they can keep Cocky behind them. Yeah, I think Hausman could have forced the issue through the kink, but didn't. Loses a little bit of momentum now. So they run 2, 3, 4. Remember, the leader is still not just getting into Canada right now. So, Adam, you think it can be done out of that last corner before the start-finish line? That may be where Hausman is going to make his move.
I do, and I think he was kind of trying to pull a little bit of an old Earnhardt drafting move there, letting him get just a little far out in front, trying to use a little bit more of that draft to kind of get his momentum back. In fact, here he comes out turn 14. See what happens here.
And we go to our leader real quick as Aero Num crosses the finish line. He's going to win. Well, it's a long race. It's a long way to the start-finish line here. We watch Aero Num. There he is, your winner, round number 5, Formula Neagle. Here comes the pass for second. Hausman with a run. Not going to get there. Tran takes second. Hausman gets third. Fourth place goes to Cocky. Battle for 5th. Look at this. It's side by side. Burns and Podosek. I believe it's going to be Burns. Fiera is going to get 7th. Neptune, a great run from him. Frederick, congratulations, in 8th. Let's go back now to 9th position. This is Brame, Hoffendawson, and Quinn. Brame out in front in the yellow and black machine. Quinn goes wide into the sand. Hoffendawson running in 10th. He has time to get the draft. Brame weaving left. He's protecting the inside. I don't think Hoffendawson can have enough time to get there. It's a long way to the start-finish line. Here comes Hoffendawson, and not going to get there as Brame takes 10th. Hoffendawson 11th. Fagura in 12th. Quinn, I believe, out there is going to get 12th position as he went into the grass. Losper, is there any other battles here back because the cars are still coming in?
16th, 17th, and 18th.
Here we go. We're going to look at Colomb in 16th position. Riddle in 17th and King coming up. They come around. Let's see if Riddle has enough time. I don't think Riddle's going to get to Colomb. The question is now, does King have enough momentum to get to Riddle? Adam, you're right. That start-finish line is a long way away from that final corner. I don't think it's going to. I think they're going to wrap up in that order. Colomb is going to get 16th. Riddle 17th. King 18th. We're going to go back.
Oh, look, Kevin Mills and Rolf Just get together coming out there. And Kevin Mills in the wall. Can he get it going enough to finish this race?
This will be a battle for, I think, the last cars on the lead lap. So whoever gets it going first And it looks like that Just is going to get there, I think. Just is going to come across in 21st. Mills is a-coming. This is going to be interesting. Let's stay on Just right now. Mills has some momentum as they're limping towards the start-finish line. I think Mills is going to get him.
With no front. Oh, Mills
Oh,
is
I think they're just... They're working it out between them, I think. They have this probably some good sportsmanship. But it was fun to watch. Great battling all through the entire field. We're going to go back and look at the P5 finish before we go to break. This is between, I believe, Burns and Podolsek. Watch how close this is. That's Podolsek behind him. Look at the run he gets. That's Podolsek now on the inside. Here they come. Look how close they are. Podolsek scooching up in the chair, Adam. You know what I mean? Trying to wave his arms through the air to get anything going on.
And that's what 15 thousandths of a second looks like in a Skip Barber car.
David Third Degree Burns gets that final top 5. Gotta love the Absolute Beginner League and Formula Neagle. This is the Globalson Racing Channel's coverage of that series. We're going to take a short break right now. We'll be back in just a few to run down the entire standings, do driver interviews, and close up shop. Back in a few. Welcome back to the Global Sim Racing Channel's coverage of the Absolute Beginner League. This is Formula Neagle, round number 5 at 7 from Road America. We're here every other alternate Sunday. Next Sunday, take your spouse out to dinner or brunch, depending on your global location, because the Sunday after that, you're going to be right back with us again to watch another Absolute Beginner Formula Neagle series from Mid-Ohio. Right now, let's run down the standings here of the round 5 from Road America. It is the Roland Estonian. He is now 4 wins in 5 attempts and going to increase his point lead in the point standings. A couple Mama Jean Racing drivers, Tuan Tran and Bastian Hausman, going 2-3. The independent, the privateer, Pierce Cockey, rounding out, finishing in 4th. And then rounding out your top 5, David Third Degree Burns. Wojciech Podolek, we saw a lot of him. He had an exciting race, going to finish in 6th. A quiet run from Rodrigo Fiera in 7th position. Frederick Neptune, my goodness, how about an 8th place finish from him? Great run. Vincent Brame started 6th, going to finish 3 spots back in 9th. And rounding out the top 10, the air traffic controller, Michael Hoffendawson. Adam?
Yeah, in 11th, Mark Figueroa ended up coming home when bringing that 16 car home in 11th position. Liam Quinn in 12th. GSRC's own Richard Losper brings her home 13th. Edgar Sancinelli, 14th position. Darren Kuhn, 15th. Richard Klum, 16th. Mark Riddell, the 20 car, bringing it home in 17th. Mark King, 18th position. Thomas Kick in 19th. He had a little bit of an eventful day as well. Michael Key in 20th.
Hitting blackjack, it is Ralph Just, Kevin Mills in the double deuce position. Adam Olson, 23rd. The double dozen spot goes to Adam Morgan, the quarter century mark, Jeff DeHausen. He's going to get he's got a bear claw waiting for him at the next Back Marker United meeting for some good work there. Michael Parks in 26th position, 11 laps down, 13 laps down. Daniel Kruger in 27th, the final driver to take the grid and the final one on your standings. Okay, it's interview time. We look up here ready for interview, and we have the Roland Estonian. I get to talk to him today. Let's see if we can bring in Aero Num. He is our points leader, his 4th win of the season right now. He's got 4 wins and a second. Congratulations, Aero, on another win. Let's take you through the early part of the race. You're in a 3-car battle with Tran and Hausman. You just happy to ride that out for a little while?
Yeah, definitely. I see the gap from the Ford is growing, so I was very happy with that.
Now, we saw a lot of what we call leapfrogging, where you jump ahead of Tran and then Tran jumps ahead of you. Was that something you guys thought? I know you're not teammates, but is that something you were working together there? Because it seemed to really increase the lead to the guys behind you.
No, I think just it happened that way, and we both understand what we are doing.
Okay, let's take you to the pit stop now. Why the decision to come in when you did?
I got bored.
Then we thought, were you surprised that the leader, that Bastian, stayed out when he did? That you must have been kind of smiling behind the wheel there, saying, "Oh, I'm going to make this up," while you're out there running by yourself.
Oh yeah, that worked out well.
Traffic seemed to play pretty good. You always risk when you come in early for the pit stop that you're going to run into traffic. You ran into a little bit of it, but it didn't seem to slow you up too much.
Coming out of the pits the first lap, I made mistake by myself, so I lost about second, and the other guys I lost another second, but I was just so much faster on my own.
Let's change topics here. Totally different. We saw you in the 24-hour of Le Mans. How did your team fare?
Not good. We crashed out on the tree.
Well, it was nice to see in there. It's always exciting when we see the Roland Estonian's name come up on the schedule, whether it's on the 24-hour. We've seen it in the Conti series as well. It's good to see you on other GSRC events. And Aero, good luck to you the rest of the season and when we cover you in other events.
Yeah, thank you.
Errol Num, the Rolling Estonian, with his 4th win in its 5th try here today, your points leader. All right, we're going to let Adam talk to our 3rd place finisher today, Mama Jean Racing's own Bastian Hausman.
Hey, Bastian, how are you? That race was pretty exciting. What was it like from the driver's seat?
Hey, good evening. Yeah, it was pretty nice. I had a good pace. I didn't expect it at first. And then I just tried to stay third and save a little bit fuel. But then everyone in front of me left. So I had to adjust a little bit my braking points because I was driving carefully before that. So when I was alone, it was a little bit harder at start. But then I came in the right groove.
Well, the one question that we had up here in the booth was about your pit strategy here today. You didn't come in when Euro did, and when Twan had its trouble, we were kind of wondering if you'd come in with Euro and try to, or after the lap after Euro, and try to latch on as far as a draft. What was the decision like for you not to do that and to try to stay out there as long as you could?
Aero has a better pace than me, so I decided to get as low on fuel as possible, so I could maybe get a little bit tense in my lap times. But usually I just calculate the fuel during the race, and this time I used a program for it. And that kind of bite me in the back, because I had 4 liters too much. So that's why my pit stop was really bad.
I understand that. Wouldn't be the first time I think that's happened to somebody. Now, as far as racing with your teammate Twan Tran there, not only are you guys teammates, but of course with Mama Jean Racing, but you're also in a points battle. Were you guys just were you trying to be careful with Twan there at the end of the race, knowing he's your teammate, or were you really trying to push it there to see what would happen?
At first I was trying to be very carefully, of course, because we were trying to get the team championship. One time I locked up and nearly hit Tuan in the back, but it luckily didn't happen. And then after the pit stop, we were like, we're going to race to the end and see what happens. So I tried the second to last lap. I tried to run to the finish line and it worked. I should have been second. And then the last lap, the pressure just got a little bit too much and didn't have the corner right. So I couldn't challenge him for a second place.
All right, well, hey, Bastian, once again, congratulations on a 3rd place finish for today. Definitely an exciting race at Road America. And look forward to seeing you here in 2 weeks.
Yes, thank you very much. And I enjoyed watching you guys broadcasting the 24 last night. It was good.
Oh, thank you. Always nice to get that compliment. Bastian Hausman here, your 3rd place finisher today. There we go. You know what? That's a great interview, Adam. We found out something there. He used a technology. I'm so glad. I love it when technology fails you. Used technology to calculate his fuel strategy, and it, as he said, I think bit him in the back. And that's why maybe if he would have taken less fuel, he might have been able to come out on the back of Num. So that's why we do these interviews.
Absolutely. And like I said, it's not the first time I've heard of that happening to somebody, if we're using the programs for the first time. And a lot of them, there's several of them out there. They're all good, but you got to, usually the first time or two that you use them, it's kind of a learning curve a little bit. But overall, still a pretty exciting race today.
Fingers and toes, baby. That's the way we do it here. All right, let's close up shop. Since Adam's voice is going and he's recovering, I'm going to do these. We're supposed to share these ending credits here, but I'm going to do it, help my partner out. I'd like to thank the Absolute Beginner League for organizing Formula Neagle and contacting with GSRC to broadcast it. We know you have a lot of options when you fly. Thanks for flying GSRC. Also thanks to ilovesimracing.co.uk. I Love Sim Racing is a website where you can find quality-made sim racing button boxes, custom-made to your own personal design, making your sim racing experience more realistic and more fun. It helps you execute all those important in-race vehicle settings and pit stop changes, giving the extra edge on the track, and at a very affordable, competitive price. Working closely with you, it's their goal to create the exact button box layout for that you've been looking for, figuring out what it is you want and what it is you don't want, resulting in a box just for you that nobody else has. Your button box will not only work on your PC, but on your PlayStation 4 platform as well. I love simracing.co.uk, the home for your personal created button boxes. Thanks to the company's equipment and software that you see on the screen now that we use on our broadcast. The original music that you've heard on today's broadcast is thanks to Eric Echolm and Casey Lalonde. See the screen for how to contact them. And for Pete's sake, when you listen to their music, try headphones so you get some stereo separation. They work hard on getting all that stuff right. Appreciate it. Next up for Formula Neagle will be in 2 weeks, November 13th. Like I said, next week you take the spouse and the family out for brunch or dinner, depending on your global location. But be back here in 2 weeks for round 6 for Mid-Ohio, and GSRC will be there to bring you all the action. Hey, if you'd like to find out more about GSRC, including dates and times of all the upcoming broadcasts and archive races too, go to www.globalsimracing.com. I don't really think you need the www. You know how to do it by now. We're also on Twitter at GSR Channel and Facebook at Global Sim Racing Channel. Finally, on behalf of my mic make Adam Young, our director Amjad Yaman, and our camera artist Dougie Beard, I'd like to thank all of you for watching. And with that said, we're off to have fun storming the castle. So until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.